The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello and welcome to today's web seminar. Today, an insurance agency marketing CEO will be answering your questions live. This webinar is brought to you by StartUpSelling. My name is John Scranton, and I am an agency marketing expert. Was previously a licensed agent, like many of you, with a top 100 agency. An MBA, co-authored Sell More and Work Less. I've published over 1,000 insurance marketing blogs. And our featured guest today will be StartUpSelling's founder and CEO, Alan Bloom, who will be answering your questions momentarily. Alan was named to the Inc. 500 list in 2 consecutive years. He's written 2 books, author of Your Virtual Success and Sell More and Work Less. He's created the Prospect Scorecard, published over 150 insurance marketing articles, and is widely considered to be a true insurance marketing expert. So with that, let's get to the first question. Alan, how can my agency or an agency generate exclusive and in-profile leads?
Thanks, John. So many agencies out there might have some marketing expertise on staff, a lot of it, or perhaps even it's just the producers, the founders who are doing most of the work. The things you should focus on when you think about leads is email marketing, which is no longer an innovative prospecting method. Email marketing has been around for a couple of decades, and it is still a very powerful and direct method to bring your insurance agency marketing message directly to your targeted prospects and clients. Meanwhile, a newer play is social media marketing. However, today, though it's very important that you do consistently share information on social media, to bring your message to prospects is more of a pay-to-play scenario. That's how Facebook and Google, for example, Google Plus or any social platform makes their money. So they don't want your content going out too far or too fast unless they are getting their taste, unless they're getting some advertising revenue. Content sharing is a little different, and there's a lot of ways to share content. So if you have educational content, there's many places you can post it on. One of our famous and pithy sayings that we have is that we talk about a client that we had posted an article, a very modest 450-word article on one of the leading article directories called eZine 4 or 5 years ago, and even though it's a very narrow niche, they have 12,000 views now of that article. Really substantial penetration, and that's been shared many times in many places, but it shows how when you have educational content, it can really catch on. As a matter of fact, StartUpSelling, some of our videos have 15 or 20,000 views. So these things can become quite pervasive and creep up on the search rankings and then start dominating Google and Bing and Yahoo page 1. Now, appointment setting is even older, of course, than email marketing. Appointment setting has been around for a long time, for decades, and it works very well in certain specific areas. So this is when an individual, could be somebody that you hire, it could be something that you outsource, is on the phone with your 20-second pitch, and they are targeting the prospects that you want to sell to in your specific area. Trucking, this is a very important takeaway. Trucking, niches, and unique pitches can work extremely well. If you're going to say, we could save you money on insurance, we offer great service and support, it's just not a message that resonates. However, if you offer expertise, something unique, a special workers' compensation plan that only you can offer, trucking markets that are hard to place, for example, or you have special expertise in trucking and you've been doing trucking for 10 years, or a niche that you're doing contractors and could do something special for them, whether it be changing their experience mod factors or something else, you can take that unique message with appointment setting and do really significant activity. The key to that, great appointment setters, great telemarketers, insurance agency knowledge and expertise, and the ability for them to just pound away on the phones, 20, 25 calls an hour through your list, and that you're calling at X dates that are appropriate for for the coverage you're trying to sell. So if it's a owner operator in trucking, hey, you can call them 30 days in advance, no problem. If it's a fleet with 50 units, or you're trying to sell to a contractor with 300 employees, you can't call them 30 days before renewal. Webinars, like this one today, can be very effective. The key is content, and who's going to be offering that content, and how relevant will it be to the attendees. And also, if you can offer continuing education credits, for example, SHRM, if you're selling benefits, for example, very, very powerful for bringing people in, for reaching out in a truly educational way to your marketplace. And of course, you want to record these and use them for video later, as we'll be talking about. Now, advertising, of course, in the old days, you talk about traditional advertising, whether it be radio or billboard or whatever. And today, there's PPC, pay-per-click advertising. The good thing is it can be fairly targeted, and there are ways to measure it. The bad thing is the costs just never go away. So you have to be constantly working on your ROI. There is no long-term organic benefit. And of course, event sponsorship, which even today, if you're sponsoring a golf tournament, it can be highly targeted. It can also be very expensive. Now, in these webinars, we like you to have a takeaway. So here is your useful tip. Here's a takeaway. If you have not yet tried a prospect scorecard and buyer persona exercise, this is a great thing to do with your producers, or even for a producer, for him or her to do it on their own. So StartUpSelling offers this for free. It's a template. There's the link at the bottom, startupselling.com/prospect-scorecard. And this is our scorecard, for example. This is our profile, and you may profile your niche. Contractors. We like contractors that have at least 25 employees and have revenues of $1 million and are selling into blank and have a fleet of such and such and so on. So you create your scorecard criteria, you create your qualifier, and of course you create a buyer persona, which is the type of a little 3 or 4 sentence paragraph about the type of person that you're trying to sell to. Great thing to do if you haven't done this yet.
The next question we have is, how can my agency leverage video most effectively?
We probably get more questions about video than almost anything else we do. So can video be used for lead generation? It can. It's not the vehicle per se for lead generation. However, it is the star content for lead generation. And video covers a wide variety of things. It can be a recorded webinar, it can be a whiteboard video, full motion, which is you see graphics moving around on your screen, kinetic typography. Kinetic typography has words that change, and it can be combined with full motion video, for example. Traditional talking head, which is you being recorded even on your computer, talking to somebody, though you can also do actual production level video where you bring in a crew and have them videotape and edit. So there's a lot of video options today, ranging from free to extremely expensive. Now, the distribution options are very important. So you have all the standard distribution we just talked about, whether it be email marketing, for example, or social media sharing and so on. But you also add YouTube and vlogging. A vlog is a blog that is video centric. It's mainly a video on your blog. It might be a video and a description. Now, YouTube is very powerful. Google owns YouTube. YouTube is given, in my opinion, preferred ranking for that and other reasons. YouTube is very heavily hit platform. People use it for all kinds of things now. So you could be explaining each product that you have. Why is general liability insurance important to contractors, for example? Or what are the 5 most common types of flooding exclusions that are not included in a flood policy, for example? Here's special, why isn't jewelry covered under a traditional policy? So these are all types of things you could offer, as well as general videos on your website, which might be employee benefits, it might be risk management, surety bonding, and so on. So video is a great thing to help carry your message And embedding video in a variety of different platforms, embedding it in Twitter, for example, is very powerful. That's when the tweet feed shows the video actually running while you're looking at Twitter. Now, sometimes agencies are mistaken. They say, great, we do a video and that's it. On the contrary, you can share your video many, many times, especially on a platform like Twitter. You can bring it back on a blog. You could be, for example, have a risk management video and repeat that 4 or 5 times over 4 or 5 months on different types of blogs that touch upon that topic. And it can be in more than one place on your website, and video should also be on your branded YouTube channel. Your website should be branded, your YouTube channel should be branded, all of the platforms should carry your look, feel, and colors. YouTube helps you in many ways more than lead generation, which we'll talk about in a second, and it has a high millennial impact. And today, with the challenge in recruiting, you should be thinking in terms of millennial. What am I doing that's going to attract millennials and retain millennials to my workforce? So here's a great takeaway. On our site, for example, if you go to our video page, you'll see a number of videos there and a player that looks like this, and it's streaming through YouTube. And that can be very good because it cuts down on the amount of files that you have on your website and improves the speed of your website. It looks great. There's a lot of players for it, especially if you're using a platform like WordPress. You can see on the right-hand side, it can show the videos. Very, very effective for many for website use. So that's a great takeaway. If you haven't done video on your website, think about loading it onto YouTube and streaming it to your website.
The third question we have today is, how do you build an opt-in prospect email list?
So this is a question that wasn't easy to answer 10 years ago and is even more challenging today. It's also more important today because your agency should become progressively more digital. So the best way to do this is first you begin with your internal list. Get every producer, go to your producers, get every prospect that they have, get them to buy into how you're going to reach out to them, get them to limit how they reach out, only custom emails to them. Don't let them do blasts of any type. Don't let them do large scale sends. Go internally, find out if there's any other lists, shows you've attended, and so on. Put those together into a cloud-based solution, and then add to that list. Now, the key components of that list are first name and a business email. Try to stay away from personal emails if you can. So you have your first name, you have your business email, you can customize that and personalize that campaign. Now, of course, it's great if you have all the other demographic data, you know, company name and website and so on, but those are the big two. Then you need to add prospects from a high quality source, and that's very difficult because there's a lot of scammy kind of emails out there that are collected inappropriately. So you want to go to a very high quality source. If you don't know how to do that, we can help you here at Startup Selling, but you want quality. And you always begin your campaigns with an opt-in email. And you're always following opt-out best practices and closely adhering to the letter of the law for the canned spam regulations. Canned spam, some people are confused. They think, like, well, canned spam says you can't send out emails. That's not true. It tells you what you must do to send out emails legally in the United States. And that's some of those regulations include you have to say who it's from. The subject line has to match the body of the text. You can't say mission critical information about changes in insurance policy and then say, hey, buy my insurance, it's cheap, for example. So it has to match, and you should always be removing manual unsubscribes immediately. So when you send out an email, it's very important that the solution that you're using, your cloud-based solution, lets people respond manually. So the solution itself takes out the automated unsubscribes when they click a box, for example, but somebody can respond to your email and say, take me off your list forever. You have to be watching those and make sure those are taken care of right away. And your mantra must be consistency and frequency. So we recommend 2 campaigns a month. You should, and to the same list, you should not do 3 or 4 or 5 campaigns a month to that same list. But you should do it consistently so they get to know you. They're seeing you have educational content, and once in a while you can offer something that's a more directed message. We actually have a pretty interesting way of offering a more directed buy my insurance method by using case studies as the content. So here's your takeaway. When you're building a prospect list / email list, it's great to color code the list. So if you have this master list and you envision you have this really large master list that your producers are then following up on calls, it's great to color code people red, yellow, green, so that you could say, oh, green, it's an active prospect, leave that alone. Red, they're not a likely prospect ever. Everybody else is a suspect. And we found this really helpful in both in producer follow-up for your email marketing. It's also great for your appointment setting.
We received many versions of this question, but we combined them and boiled it all down to, when we're already busy renewing, servicing clients, seeking new business, how can we still accomplish our marketing and lead gen goals with our limited time and resources?
So we get this a lot, and we work with both smaller agencies that have almost no resources and huge agencies that have tons of resources and still can't get everything done that they want to get done. So the first step, identify your proficient internal. Who is a person that is available to help you? For example, let's say you have a producer, and he or she says, you know, I understand email marketing pretty well. Take that person, get some training for them. The solution, let's say you use a solution. It could be anything from Pardot to eye contact, and you're going to use an email solution. Have them go through their online training courses, which are often free, and make sure that they understand the basics of that solution. So you train that internal resource, you provide them with a cloud-based tool. Don't let them buy their own subscription. Get a tool for your agency. And then the key is you must allocate time for them. And that means you may be paying them for that time, or you work out some type of arrangement where they're compensated in some way, but they need dedicated time to say, I'm going to spend 2 hours a week working on this. That's something that what happens is the agencies who use internal resources become inconsistent, and then it kind of just falls through the cracks and it doesn't get done. So it should be scheduled just like your sales meeting or anything else. It should be scheduled. Here's how much time we're allocating. Here's the goal, and it has to be measured. And above all, get your producers on board. If it's lead generation and they're not on board, it's not going to work very well. So if you're spending the time to do email marketing or appointment setting, or you've hired an appointment setter, or you've outsourced it to StartUpSelling, say, we're doing an appointment setting initiative, the producers have to be on board that they're going to follow up on the leads. So for example, if we bring an appointment to the table and we say, hey, here's an appointment, it's for a contractor, they have 75 employees, they want to talk to you about risk management and benefits, they're not especially happy with the current broker, they've seen big increases in premiums, they're looking for innovative solutions, they're available for a conference call at 1 o'clock on Tuesday. The producer should be following up on that lead, researching the company a little bit beforehand, making sure they have the materials they want to present, know what they want to say, and determine if it's a con call or a web meeting up front. They need to buy into the process. If they don't, the likelihood of success drops dramatically. If they do, you're much more likely to have a successful campaign. And lastly, of course, instead of trying to do this all internally, you can consider outsourcing some or all of it to an insurance agency marketing firm.
How can my agency improve our social media presence and attract millennials?
Why aren't people talking about my generation anymore? Why is it always millennials these days? Well, today with the challenge in recruiting and retention, the millennials is becoming a pretty significant group, especially for people who are on an early career path. So many agencies, many companies in general are trying to figure out a way to attract and retain millennials. They're a different breed. If you ask me what I watch on TV, I'll give you an answer. If you ask a millennial, they'll say, well, I don't really watch TV. What is, no, I stream it. I stream everything. I watch a lot on my phone. I watch some on my tablet. I might connect my computer to a TV. So they're just a different generation and they're very digital. So make sure you have an awesome career and resource page and that the information on it is appropriate for all of the generations you're trying to attract. Make sure your website is speaking to the millennials. Millennials want to hear things like, and these are studies that you've probably seen, flexible hours, career path, training. Can I work virtually? Is there any, what are your programs for contribution to community? And most importantly, lifestyle balance is a big thing to the millennial generation. Those are general statements, but again, if you're trying to attract them, those are things that are important. So think about what you want to convey, what you offer, and how to package it. Use images to convey a young and vibrant culture. If it looks like a meeting of the Senate of the United States, for example, and you're having images that look like that, that's not going to play too well. So you want to have a young, vibrant culture. You want to have images and videos to show that. And of course, you want to have an active blog and social media channels. And you may want to invite them to contact you this way. So when people talk to me, well, what about lead generation for social media? I'm not sure that social media is by any means a fast path to leads, but it's a very important for image, for branding, for attracting and recruiting millennials, for showing that you are a digital agency of today and the future. Use cool things like infographics and use more images and less text. And above all, use a variety of different types of videos. Millennials tend to like videos far more than reading text. So here's a good takeaway. On the right-hand side, on the left-hand side, you see an article we wrote on SEO. Well, that's fine and good. If I were trying to attract a millennial, I'd be much more interested in, an infographic on the right-hand side, insurance video for more effective marketing, something about your organization. The infographic is much more visually interesting than a textually oriented blog.
The last question we'll take today is, how can my agency build a marketing and lead gen team?
So maybe that question should be, should my agency build a marketing lead gen team? The larger the agency, the more likely that answer would be yes, and here's how you do it. So if you have an agency that's 4 million in commissions and revenues, then you may not have the budget bandwidth to hire a team to do most of what you want. If your agency is 40 million or 80 million, you can much more likely start putting together a team. Even those size agencies and higher typically don't have all the skills that they need, including, for example, search engine optimization and video production. So the size of the agency has a big impact on the answer to this question. But again, it starts with allocating and training your internal resources or hiring somebody who specifically, I am a email marketing manager. Establishing goals and ROI metrics. So you need to establish a budget. Here's my budget for marketing. Here's my goal. Remember, as soon as you hire a person dedicated to marketing, that is going to be a $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 resource easily. Then you need a budget for them to execute upon that. So it's a $100,000 decision. So for especially agencies that are smaller, it tends to be very ROI, simple ROI to outsource it. You want to execute, measure, refine, and continually repeat that process. Above all, if you're going to do marketing, create the lead handling process. Great marketing, no lead handling, poor results. Great marketing, great lead handling, great results. So you have to track your leads, close the loop, And that means you got to bring your producers into the fold. You have to be consistent with your messaging and branding. If you have a great website and you look lousy on Facebook, YouTube, Google+, that's not the answer. Today, carry that brand. If you don't have good branding on your website and it's not a current website and it's not an HTTPS website, it's not an SSL website, get that done right away. Then carry that nice looking branding over to your other channels. And of course, you can always entertain outsourcing this. So the takeaway from this, we're talking about that lead, appointment, quote, close. You really want to have a tight process that can be measured and have, say, here's how many appointments are going to be going into the top of my pipeline every month, so that you can then measure that and refine that process. John?
Well, thank you very much, Alan, for answering all those questions that our clients and prospects have sent in to us. If anyone attending today would like a complimentary marketing and lead gen review where we talk about what you're currently doing, answer any additional questions that you have, we'd be happy to arrange that. It's a 15-minute web meeting, much like our webinar today, except individually oriented and a direct conversation. You can call or email me. My contact information is on the screen. With that, today's web seminar is now ending. We hope you all have a great day.